Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about the 1099 MISC or the miscellaneous and how I fill that out and file that as a freelance photographer and videographer and content creator. Now, of course, always consult your tax accountant or professional. I am just merely sharing how I do my own because I do file my own taxes. And there's an urgency with this form specifically because this is due by January 31st. So let's get into it. So there are many reasons to fill out this form. However, I'm just going to talk about the reasons why I do it and how I fill it out. So me as a content creator, as a videographer and photographer, I hire out people for specific projects. For example, assistants, producers, directors, talent, models, all of that. So what typically happens is once I get hired onto a job, the payment all comes to me. And then what I have to do is disperse that payment to the whole team. And the 1099 MISC is the tax form to log all of those transactions. There are two ways to file the 1099s. One is electronically and the other is hard copy paper, which is this one. Now, electronic sounds the 21st century way of filing, and of course that's the easier way. However, there's one caveat. If you want to do electronically, you need an EIN, which is an employee identification number for your business. So I know a lot of freelancers start out as sole proprietors and you don't typically sign up for the EIN right away, and you just use your social security number as your TIN or tax identification number. Tax identification number is the number, either your social for personals or your EIN for business. So the SSN and the EIN falls under the TIN, which is the tax identification number. So in order to file electronically, you have to sign up for Fire account using Form 4419. And if you look here, it says you need an employee identification number to sign up. Social security numbers is not permitted. So there you go. That's the one caveat to that. So if you don't have an EIN, either you have to sign up for your EIN first right away before you can sign up for Fire, which stands for Filing Information Returns Electronically. Or if you don't want to go through all of that right away for whatever reason, that brings us to option number 2, which is the hard copy. And the hard copy, there is another caveat to that. Now, with the 1099s, you can't just download these off the internet and print them out and mail it in. You have to order these forms, specifically original copies, from the IRS. Because this is a special kind of, I don't know what it is. Apparently it's scannable. It's like this carbon paper where you write on the top copy and it goes all the way to the bottom. And you have to press really hard to get it all the way to the last copy. But yeah, these, you cannot download it from the internet. You have to order these from the IRS. So that's why I'm telling you now, order it before the deadline. I'm sure if you order it right away in the early part of January, you probably will get it in time to file. But what I do is, as soon as I file this, I order another set right away for the next year. And they'll tell you they can't ship the next year right away. They'll get to it once basically they go through all the previous year taxes. So sometime in the middle of like June or so, I'll probably get 2020 1099s. The first time I did it, I had no idea that you were supposed to do it. You're supposed to file these by January 31st. So I was panicking at that point. But lesson learned, I order the next year's right away. In order to order these forms, go to Google and type order 1099 MISC 2019. And you'll see online ordering information. Go to Order Products, Internal Revenue Service. Make sure it says irs.gov and click there. And then you'll go to online ordering for information returns and employer returns. Click there. And then if you scroll down, you'll see you can order these forms for the 2019 and 2020 year. And so if you scroll down, you'll see, where is it? 1099 MISC. So each of these hard copy forms has two forms, one on the top and one on the bottom. So you can fill out for two different contractors. When you order one copy here, it'll send you one of these copies for two contractors. So basically take all of your contractors. If you had 10 contractors, you only need 5 forms. However, order extra because when you're handwriting these, you're going to make a mistake, you're going to make a typo, and you're going to scribble out, which I do not recommend. So order extra copies. If you had 10 subcontractors, you need 5 forms. Maybe order, I don't know, 10 forms, something like that. Just order extras. So say 10 forms, that's enough for 20 contractors if you had perfect handwriting and no mistakes. Also, you're going to need this form, Form 1096. This is basically a cover letter to all the ones you're going to file. And you only need 1 copy for all of these. So if you're going to order 10 of these 1099 misses, and while you're here, you might as well order 10 for next year as well. But scroll up and go to Form 1096 and order 1 of those, or maybe 2 of those in case you make a mistake, and order 2 for next year. And then once you're done, that's kind of all you need really, basically for now. You go to the bottom and click Add to Cart, and then go ahead, check out, order all of that. Hopefully it gets to you before the January 31st deadline, or else there's penalties to pay. I don't know how much the penalties are, but there's penalties if you're late with the 1099s. Now, what I do before filling out the hard copies, the official copies of the 1099s, I'll download a PDF version, and then I fill that out, and then I send those to my contractors. I'll go into an example of how I fill it out as a photographer or videographer hiring out subcontractors. So here, it's very simple. There's a lot of boxes, but it's very simple. You don't really need to put much in. I'll put my name in, my address, 123 Main Street, New York 1001. And then I'll put my phone number, 7890. And then here you can put in your EIN or your SSN. If you don't have an EIN, you could put in your Social Security, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then here you can put in their Social Security if they're a sole proprietor or individual, or if they're a business, then you can put in their business number here. So you could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You get this information by asking them for their W-9s. Now, it's much easier to collect their W-9s and all of the paperwork before the job actually happens. Once the job is over, everyone's moving on to the next thing, and it's just a pain to try to chase down paperwork. So having a good producer will get all this paperwork collected and done beforehand. Now down here, it's a little easier because there's individual spaces for all of that. Up here it can get a little cramped when you're filling out the hard copy form. You're trying to fill 4 lines of information into one box. But down here is a little easier. You could put their first and last name, and then put in their address, side street, say apartment 1, New York 1001. Okay, that is basically all I put in. The only other thing is in box 7, I will fill in basically how much I paid them, and that's all you do. No commas, just periods for the cents, just numbers, no dollar signs. It's already in there. And that's it. That's all the information that I fill out for the 1099 for my subcontractors. The only other box you might fill out is if you have an attorney and you pay your attorney, you will fill out their information here and not here in box 14. If you Google for the instructions, 2019 1099 MISC instructions right here. So one thing I want to note specifically for our situation here is that in box 7, services performed by someone who is not your employee. So that would be like a contractor, like an assistant or a producer or whatever that you hire out. And it says at least $600. And so this is kind of thrown around, and you might hear that, oh, you don't need to send a 1099 MISC to your contractors if it's under $600. And that's true. However, what I do is I will still send out a 1099 MISC to my contractors, even if it's less than $600. So even if it's for like $50, I will still send out a 1099 MISC for that person, because a common misconception is if I hire somebody for less than $600, for example, $500 for the entire year, it says I don't need to file an official IRS 1099 form for that person. And I don't need to send them a copy of the 1099. And the misconception is that just because they don't receive a 1099 MISC for a figure less than 600, that they don't have to file that as income, and that's incorrect. When you do your taxes, you have to, file all your income, official income of W-2s and 1099s that you receive. But for those other smaller jobs that you might have done, you still have to put at the end other income. And you're supposed to put in a dollar figure, and that's where you're supposed to put in all of those small jobs that you might not have received the 1099s. So that's the misconception. And then going back to why I do that for every single one of my contractors is because I want to make it officially clear to the IRS and to the contractor that I have paid this money out to people and I am no longer liable for the taxes on that money. You can imagine, even for a job as small as $50, I will still send the 1099 because it's roughly like 50% of tax. So if I pay somebody $50, they're going to be liable for the taxes on that $50. If I don't, and it somehow comes back to me that this $50 was not spent officially, then I will have to owe taxes on that $50, meaning I will owe another approximately $50 for taxes, and I don't want to do that. So that's why I send out 1099s to everyone. Okay, and then once you fill out all of the 1099s, what you're going to do here is also fill out the 1096 cover letter. This is basically the cover letter for all the 1099s you filled out. And what you're going to do here is, I can't actually write in this one, but you're going to put your name or your business name here, and then you're going to put your address, your town, and your city and state, and then put your contact if you're the boss, telephone number, email address, your contact information. You will also put in your EIN or your SSN here, total number of forms, and then in box 3 you're going to fill out the number of forms you filled out. So this is one sheet. If you filled out top and bottom for 2 contractors, then you're going to type in 2 forms. So not number of sheets, but number of forms. So you're going to type in 2 if you filled out top and bottom. If you filled out just the top, then you're going to type in 1 here. And then down here in box 6, you're just going to type an X or write an X in the box that says 1099 MISC or miscellaneous. And that's it. Once you've signed and dated and filled all that out, you're going to mail this form, 1096 cover letter, along with the top copies of all your 1099s that you filled out. And you're going to mail that off to the IRS. And you can see here, if you scroll down, if you live in these states, this is the address that you're going to ship it off to. And then if you scroll further, you'll see all of the other states down here. So the first top copy, the red copy, will go to IRS for you to file as the employer. The second copy will go to your state. If your state requires you to file this form to them as well, then you're going to send in the second one, which is copy 1. New York State does not require this, so I don't have to do this. I just need to send in the first red copy to the federal IRS. Copy B will go to the assistant or the contractor, and copy 2 is for their state if they need to file for their state as well. And copy C is the bottom copy, which is your copy for your records. So a tip for record keeping all of this, all your contractors, what I do is I create my own Google Sheet layout here, and you can see this is just a sample, of course. Here I have listed 2 jobs. You got the Mayo commercial and you got the Mandu commercial. And what I did was I put the same people hired for the same for these 2 jobs, same roles, same people, just for this sample. And then so this gives me an idea of how much I've paid out for all my contractors, and here's the sum total. But what I do is before I mail them the hard copies is I will email them a PDF copy just so that they're aware of the information, and I have them confirm if they've updated their address or whatnot, or if everything is correct. Here you can see that with this person, Andrea Anderson, fake name, don't worry. I hired them for 2 jobs and a total of $2,000 here, $1,000 each. And then what I'll do is I will download as PDF, and I will do selected cells, and I will save this as a PDF. In my email, I'll include the copy of the 1099 for them that shows the amount, and then also this PDF that shows which jobs that they specifically worked for me and the amounts totaling up to $2,000. And a lot of times people forget, oh, I don't remember working for you. And this is just another kind of way to remind them, hey, these are the jobs that you were hired for. And then after I email them that, what I do is I take this PDF and then I insert in this bottom white space the PDF or the scanned checks that when they cash the checks that I send as payment, I put those scanned checks in this white space. Because if you get audited by the IRS, they're going to want to see all your 1099s, how much you've paid out to people. And so this is good record keeping. The name, the people, their contact information, the canceled checks, they're going to want to see that. And also the 1099 copies that you send. So they're going to want to see all of that. So this is just good record keeping, and this is just kind of how I do it. And then another thing I'll do is I kind of have this automated, it's called Autocrat. Autocrat is pretty cool. Basically, it'll create PDF versions of envelopes. So it has, you know, my address at the top, and then all of these individual names and addresses. It'll just automatically create all of that. And so all I'll have to do is put a bunch of envelopes, blank envelopes in my printer, and then open up these envelope PDFs and then print it all out. That's kind of a nice time saver. And if you want to see a demo of that, just leave a comment below and maybe I'll make another video on how to use Autocrat. And that's it. All of this stuff is due to the IRS and the recipient by the end of January 31st. Don't forget to do that. And remember, you have to order the official copies if you're going to do hard copy. You're going to have to order that ahead of time. So don't wait till the last minute. And electronically, you're going to need your EIN if you don't have one already. And so basically, don't sleep on this. And once again, as a disclaimer, this is not official tax advice. Always consult your professional tax accountant. I hope this helps in some way, and I'll continue to do this series, Tax for Freelancers, just an account of how I do taxes as a creative. But yeah, again, I hope this helps. Till next time, see ya.